Hey everybody, Justin, Bryn, and Travis. You might know us because we play a lot of Arkham Horror, the card game. And sometimes we review them. And we're a bit late because we like to play through it at least twice.
This is like the same amount of time as we were for like the last one.
It's true, it's true.
Like, for when we did Dunwich, it's like the same
But we like to play it more than once to kind of just really understand it.
I think the Forgotten Age releases like tomorrow.
Yeah, so... And this is actually coming out even a few days later than that. But anyway, we're reviewing the Path to Carcosa scenarios. And you see we rate them on down below. Theme, fun, difficulty, and overall. So you might notice that the overall is not an average rating. It's how we feel overall about the scenario.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just if you can look at the 3 for an in-depth review, and then the overall is how we would recommend it overall. Yeah. Nice and simple.
How much we enjoyed it.
I'm not going to say this again for any of the Path to Carcosa videos, so if you missed it, sorry, it's not going to make sense.
But you also probably shouldn't have started from the middle.
This one will probably be marked number 1.
Yes.
It's always a good idea to start
number
at
1.
the beginning.
So we're doing Curtain Call and the Last King, so we might as well start with the Curtain Call. This one is all based on Haster, so you start literally watching the King in Yellow play.
You say it and I get a little jump of
Which we'll get to in the future of why the name Haster scares us, as it should.
Yeah.
So in this one, you kind of just explore an empty theater with a bit of variety in terms of where the backstage doorways can lead, because you have a lobby, balcony, backstage, theater. None of them really do much.
You can jump from the balcony into the theater.
You can jump.
Legs.
Yeah, like it'll hurt though.
There's nothing that really provides the difficulty.
No, they're
there.
just like things.
Yeah.
It just introduces you to the mechanics of the Path of Carcosa, what the scenario is.
And what is part of this deck for the Curtain Call one? There's a bunch of stuff, but like, is there anything
big
that's
asshole
memorable?
baby.
Yes, we'll get to the big asshole baby because he's a big asshole.
This guy.
Yeah, so this also introduces a reoccurring theme throughout this whole thing, which is the Man in the Pallid Mask, which is not only a character in the play, but also just something you're going to become very familiar and acquainted with throughout the whole thing.
Well, he's the stranger in the play.
He's the stranger in the play. Yes.
Or is this entire scenario, or this entire campaign just a play?
Isn't that's the thing, right?
Maybe.
So there's 2 ways to deal with him. You can either fight him or investigate him. So anyone can deal with him.
Yeah.
To a point.
Yeah, like the investigate is +2 of the difficulty of the location he's on, so it's very possible that is not really something you could do.
But he stays like this throughout the whole campaign, and he'll just keep popping up as
you don't have to deal with him, but like you probably should.
The flavor of him, as a side note, is I enjoy the fact that he was just always there,
especially on the first playthrough. How ambiguous his presence was.
Yeah, and when you just show up and he's like, "What do you want, sir?"
Yeah, the game keeps telling you to keep track of things regarding him. It's just like, okay, but why?
Yeah. And then you get to the end and you're like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Right.
There's also before we get into the cards, there's the conviction and doubt mechanic, which is a really cool mechanic that will shape the rest of your game for you.
Yep.
I will say though, from the 2 playthroughs, I feel like conviction is the right choice, because you get more out of it. Like in the Last King, the ending that you get will really change.
Yeah, it's mostly just that one that has a massive impact. The other ones are like different. Conviction's probably a little bit better at least for our playstyle.
Yeah, we're very convicted.
Yeah, we just do things.
Yeah.
Yeah, running around,
Some
hitting people
up the fire, we're like,
lighting people on fire.
So this one climaxes with the big asshole baby, which is my most hated enemy.
This guy got us good
in that first time.
Yeah, like actually this
the first 3 times we played. Remember, like we've mulliganed 2 campaigns.
Yes,
because it was just like,
we just got crushed.
By the big baby.
Yeah, like the baby showed up at the wrong time. Game's over.
Yeah,
that's it.
So you were saying Critical is actually quite challenging.
Yeah, like it got us good a couple times.
Especially in comparison to House Always Wins and extracurricular activity.
No, I would say this one's definitely in the running for most difficult in the campaign.
Yeah, I think.
Is it the most difficult one? Probably not. But I would it's definitely on the list.
You only have like level 0 cards to work with.
Yeah, you haven't gotten the chance to really specialize your deck into any sort of.
If we did this in the last one, we would just blow him up no problem every time he showed up.
But attack for a starting group with 0 cost cards is rough.
Yeah.
Luckily, we've gotten better with him, but your first time through, it's going to be very tough.
It is, yeah,
just mulligan.
Yeah, like if you lose, don't be afraid to just lose and like.
Just go again. Just be like, all right, good job, good job, asshole.
Yeah, you win this game.
So then the theme of this one is exploring an abandoned theater while weird things happening, and then you eventually meet the stranger, and he does something. Either green goo, water, or fire starts to spread over the whole thing, which kind of doesn't make any sense. Like, the fire does, the water does, and the green goo, you're like...
The green goo doesn't really
What?
make sense. The water makes sense for,
Yeah.
like, later things, because...
Because, yeah, you can go under. What's that on my ear? Can you look there for a second?
Hmm?
I thought you looked at my ear for a second.
No.
I was like... yeah, so, like, the theme for this one is kind of disconnected. I feel like... I don't really feel like I'm exploring a theater. The locations say it's a theater.
You kind of do a little bit. Like, it definitely feels like abandoned and spooky. You got your poltergeist wandering around. You got these random... I mean, like, the spires of Carcosa feel a little bit out of place.
Yeah.
Like, these random cultists showing up feel a bit out of place. The whispers in your head and Descent into Madness.
These cards are cool.
That,
Are really
that
nice.
entire mechanic is really cool.
So there's cards
They
that
make a
get
good job
added to your hand, and you
Yeah.
can't tell people about it. You can eventually kind of like figure out what they do, but you basically you become a hindrance to your other players.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I think
Sometimes
this
you
is-
draw one, you're like, this does nothing.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the coolest implementation of an insanity mechanic in an Arkham Files game so far, because you're still working towards the same goal you were working to before. You just
do it.
can't
You just do it
do
worse.
things
Yeah.
the way that your team thinks maybe you could.
So like,
They'll be like, "Why don't you move over here and deal with this?" And you're like, "I can't do that."
why don't you activate those,
I won't do
those
that.
beat cops?
Yeah, like why
Can't
don't
do
you
that.
why don't you use your beat cop to kill this guy? Like, I don't think so.
So these are to me a flavor home run for the entire Path to Carcosa campaign. But in terms of curtain call, I don't think so.
I think they're fine.
Well, but not connected to curtain call. Like they're good for the Haster part of it.
Yeah.
But like in terms of the feeling of the thing, so like me personally, I'd give probably the theme for this one like a 2 is what I'm saying, because the big baby shows up and he's scary.
I give it a 3. Like, I like it. It does feel like you're wandering around an abandoned theater where everyone else has fallen asleep or died or whatever, and you're like, what's going on? And you're just kind of exploring, trying to figure stuff out, and all of a sudden this big baby's just like, "Brrr, brrr."
What about you, Bryn? What do you think?
Yeah,
And then like
I-
they do a good job making the last act or agenda or whatever it is feel like a panic to get in.
Yes, that is true. The fleeing, it's stressful and it's gonna be a close call.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely had many of the times we've played this scenario, we've had it end with somebody being like, "All right, I'll just die here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what happened to me. I was like,
that's
yeah, I guess
fine.
I'll take a mental trauma.
Yeah.
I guess that's how this is gonna be.
So yeah, the third act of it is very good.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to go to 2.5 then. You convinced me,
I'm voting
Travis.
for 3.
Bryn, you're the tiebreaker. Bryn's gonna say 5 to throw us for a loop.
Can we go
Excuse me.
6?
I know, so enough little Cthulhu's down there.
No, I think this one's pretty solid as an introduction just to like this segment of the mythos, right? Like we have some pieces that feel a little disjointed, like the Spires of Carcosa, but like they're necessary as a part of the groundwork for what goes next. So I think I would also give this a 3.
All right, you guys win. All right, the battle continues. So that is a 3 out of 5 for theme. Now let's get to the fun. How fun is this one?
I'd put this at a 1, man. I've died like 3 times trying to get out of this stupid theater.
I give it a 2. It's very misleading. Like, it's not like, it doesn't feel unfair, and like going into it knowing what you're working with, like it's not unfun, but like the first time it could be so
the first
crushing.
time
Yeah.
it was.
I don't look forward to this one.
Yeah.
Like you wander around the theater for a bit, you're like, oh, I can just take my time exploring. And then they're like, oh, it's baby time.
Yeah. And then you're like, if you're not prepared for the baby,
Yep.
you beat the
Yeah.
baby, and then he shows up.
And then you're not
I mean,
prepared
like,
from the second
yeah.
time, and the third time, you're like,
The last time we did it, we had all the gear in our kit
Yeah.
to deal with all the problems that we faced, and still one of us died.
And it's one of those like.
I mean, like I might not have, but it was a decision that
Yeah.
I'd rather like take the guaranteed mental trauma than maybe have a physical trauma. So
There's also a big thing
That's
is
fair.
like in comparison to like if you just open this box, like if you buy the core set and you're like, well, I'm gonna buy the Path to Carcosa. This one's gonna be probably
It's gonna be hard.
it's gonna be so unfun.
Yeah.
Because
you
Yeah.
might not enjoy it.
yeah.
That being said, like it's
You should expect
still
that
really
playing
good. It's
Arkham
the
games,
beginning to
but-
this.
But this
yeah.
but like the
like normally
the Dumbest
normally-
Legacy one is in comparison a
Oh, yeah,
lot
it's like cakewalk,
easier.
yeah.
So you said 2 for fun?
yeah,
I would also go for a 2, maybe even 1.5.
Sure, that's fine.
Like, there
I
are
don't-
fun aspects to it. It's not just like, I hate this one, I
No.
never want to play it.
No, it's just like it's very difficult and often like not in a fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, difficulty. It should be no surprise that we think this one is
4.
difficult.
Yeah, like
Four?
I would go like maybe 4.5
I'd probably do
because I think this one might be like the second hardest
in the.
in the campaign.
I think it's only 4. It's only difficult because you have only starting stuff to work with. as
Right,
part of
right, but that's
campaign.
how it works. That's the beginning.
If
of
you're
the
playing as a
campaign, right?
standalone, it can be a walk in the park.
Oh yeah, but like everything could be a walk in the park if you're playing standalone.
I mean, not necessarily.
Standalone's
Midnight
easier.
Mask is still super hard.
Standalone's easier.
I guess
Just in general. All right.
I agree with the 4.
Okay. I think it's
Like,
a little harder.
it's not
than-
unwinnable. It doesn't feel
No,
unwinnable.
it's not. None of them are unwinnable, right?
But it's a challenge.
I think this one is very hard, and I think only like maybe the last one is harder than it.
I would think.
in this campaign.
Yeah, I would say also the Insane Asylum one can be surprisingly
It
difficult.
could be. Yeah, it could be. That's
Yeah, if
fair,
you
that's
don't
fair.
like, we were lucky the first time we got through it that we just happened to stumble into it.
Yeah.
So
Okay, because we saw the things on the. We'll get
Yeah,
there
yeah.
though.
Yeah,
Overall, how do you rate Curtain Call?
I would give this one a 2, but I feel like I should give it a 3 because it gave us the big booty baby meme.
I would also go for a 2, maybe 2.5 at the highest.
All
I
right.
feel like this one's. That's why I do 2 because I feel this is slightly below average.
Like, this one isn't great, but our group has had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably give this
So-
one a 4, I think. Not because I think it's a particularly great scenario, but I think because I think it does a very good job of laying the groundwork for the parts that come next, and like the 8 parts that come next.
That is fair.
Like there's 8
Yep,
more,
that's
right?
fair.
And they're all awesome. Like,
And not all awesome.
okay, mostly awesome. They're
Yeah.
mostly awesome.
Let's go 3 then, because Big Booty
Yeah.
Because
Baby
you
Bryn
voted
has
for
a
2,
good
I
point.
voted for 3, and
Bryn voted for 4.
yeah, because that's
Bryn was-
actually average.
Like I think it's I just think it does a very good job of laying doing all the setup that needs
Yep.
to happen for the
Yeah.
rest of this campaign to exist.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now we go to The Last King, which when I played this one the first time, I loved it. And when I played it the second time, I got shot on turn 3 and I died. But this one, The Last King, so in this one
I'm
you go
sorry.
you go into a house party and you have to go around interrogating people, asking them questions.
You don't have to.
It's true, you don't have to.
we actually failed miserably at that last playthrough. We were just like, whoa.
But the whole idea of it is going and talking to people who were part of the play and part of the production. And then as the night goes on, things get weird. People start freaking out.
Yeah.
But first, this lady shows up.
Resident Evil weird. Like, you're talking to a man and suddenly he's 3 times as big and
has
he's got a
weird-
weird spine and all kinds of claw arms. And it's
This lady shows up, which
Yeah, and it's all-
she
not good.
goes to the person whoever has the most clues on them. So the person or the least clues, the fewest
the
clues.
most?
Yeah,
Is it the least?
it's the fewest clues. Yeah.
Yeah, like not the investigator with the least clues.
It's
I'll
the-
think
oh,
of
yeah,
persons.
yeah.
So if she's going to go after the one that you're most likely to actually succeed in interview. This mechanic is neat, but I feel like it's also flawed because
Just kill her.
you can kill her, which is I feel like there should have been a punishment for.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
that you can just leave her on someone. If like multiple people have 3, you can be like, nah, just stay here. Where I
Yeah.
feel like she should be moving around each turn,
Right.
right?
She does need to.
Find the bystander has the fewest clues on it.
Uh,
Yeah. So like, I imagine there might be an errata that states that's the case for her. But yeah, she's pretty not part of it. But it's these guys that are the cool thing. So if you get rid of all their clues, you get some story on the back that they tell you about stuff. And at a certain point, 5 times throughout the campaign, people, they go fucking nuts. They turn into monsters, and then you have to fight them. They also have some sort of spooky, scary transformation. And none is scarier than the fashion designer, because she was the first
Ishimaru
flip.
Haruko, who look cool.
Yeah, her spine just extends and extends, and she turns into a Resident Evil monster.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
creepy.
it's pretty cool. I like it.
Not
I
a
like
fan.
it.
And when that happened the first time, it was like, what on earth is happening? So like the theme for me for a dinner party goes wrong. Like I wish the Mythos deck was a bit more, but they do their best that they can with it.
Yeah, like what we got for this one, we have like the fine dining ones, which are fine.
Yeah.
We got a
And
tough
then-
crowd.
Yeah, we got like these, there's like the lunatic something.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that one's a little weird. It's just like people showing up.
Yeah.
These ones, like the ooze and filth and the cockroaches, those ones are fine. I like those.
I like the cockroaches too because it feels like the place is dirty.
We got Ancient Evils, which I actually would like this one a lot. Or we have this one, whatever this is called, the Stranger Encounter deck as well, which helps you just like feel the influence of Pallid Man.
Yeah, like it shows.
So like this one summons the Pallid Man from your deck.
Yeah, the one's just like punish him for being in play or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's Ancient Evils, which honestly, I think this encounter would be like
Better without them.
Yeah, just overall better. Like not even just from a difficulty point of view. Like you're supposed to go around and interview people every time we've just like been a turn or two too late, and it's just kind of like why bother? It almost feels like you shouldn't even bother just talking to them.
Yeah.
The rewards are fairly negligible. Like they're nice to have if you get them, but for the moment, it's just like for the hoops you have to jump through to talk to them and the actions you have to spend to talk to them and just have them explode in your face. It's like,
Yeah, like to have it so that there's more time for you to feel the theme of the party would be beneficial.
Even if like the numbers on the act deck were smaller.
Yeah.
And there just weren't the Ancient Evils, so that you knew how much time you had left to try and talk to someone without risking them exploding into like a horrible monster and killing you.
Yeah, definitely.
It might be a little bit better.
Yeah, it's definitely a knock against it because it makes it more stressful than it should be because the monsters and the fact that they can slowly transform is already stressful enough.
It's not even just like stressful. It's like a sense of futility having played it a couple times, right? Like our last campaign, we just didn't interview any of them, and we did better than we did the first campaign.
We showed up to the house party already drunk and just like smashed everyone up with baseball bats and like whatever we could find.
Yeah,
it was great. It worked.
It was a party.
It was like a plan.
Anyway, theme.
I mean, I would probably want to like the Ancient Evil sides. I agree. I'd probably want to give this like a high 3.5 to a low 4. Like 4, me personally 4 because like Travis has been right in the past. I've been like that was a great one. That one was really fun.
Even
like,
that one time when you got shot on the doorstep.
I still would. I came and watched. It's just
two turns in.
I think this one is really good, and I feel like when people play this for the first time, they're gonna feel that this is a party they shouldn't be at.
Yeah, no, this is. I give this one a 3. It's apart from the Ancient Evils, my biggest complaint about this one actually is the ending and like the decision you have to make after it, which is like I think there's an objectively right choice, which there shouldn't be,
and there should be a punishment for it. Yeah, for doing it.
I mean, there kind of is like, oh, you're taking mental trauma, like on scenario of like 1 billion. Yeah. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end, basically, you have a choice to, like, go back in, leave, or light the place on fire and kill everyone inside. And
like,
killing
I
everyone
think you get a little bit extra experience if you see the meeting you weren't supposed to.
But yeah, like, overall, it's just better, because then it makes it so that none of the ones that you did not stop will show up again.
Yeah. Unless you kill everyone.
Unless you kill everyone.
In which case, do whatever you want.
In which case, that's really impressive. Like,
like good job.
I mean, I feel like if you kill like 4 of the 5, or even like 3 of the 5.
Yeah, you could just take the extra experience.
But like
the other ones also have downsides, though. Is the thing.
Which is
like,
yeah, I think on theme, I'd give this like a 4 or 4.5. It does feel like you're wandering around a dinner party that maybe you shouldn't be at, and you're still trying to figure out what's going on.
I give it a 3.
All right.
I don't feel like there's a big enough incentive to talk to people, especially with this woman coming around and be like her. Like I get what the theme behind that is like you're trying to talk to people at the King Yellow, and she shows up and she's like, "Hey, the weather's really nice today, isn't it?" She doesn't want you talking about that. She's a cultist.
Yeah.
But also you can just kill her, which is
I'll go with it like
one other thing, I wish it's a party, and while there are these important people, I wish there was like just like other people there.
I wish
like
there was
bystanders.
I wish they had to do like
and they try to hurt you.
Yeah, but they don't really.
There for.
Like it doesn't feel like you're at a party you shouldn't be at. You walk in a room and there's people just trying to kill you. So.
I wish there was like a conga line mechanic where everyone kind of moved around. Like it was just
That'd be kind of neat.
You just
so, like things actually could
the stupid Italy encounter.
Yeah. It's just so around in circles. I'll go with a 3.5. I mean, like also like a 4, but like Travis does bring up good points, and like a 3.5 for theme is still quite high.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's just it has a couple failings.
Fun. I think this one's once again very fun. Like there's a bit of futility in it because of the Ancient Evils.
It's more fun than the last one for sure. I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Less satisfying to beat. But like
This one's also fun because it's very easy to get
especially knowing
experience.
the ending, you can just be like, yeah, like we didn't actually have to try.
I've
We'll just take the
enjoyed
best ending
this
anyway.
one almost every time I've played it, but that's mostly because
You play the game.
I've been walking around and people have been like, "Hey, so what about that play we put on it?" It's
And
like,
you're
no,
like,
I'll bash you.
I mean, like even like once again, the point where I got shot on like turn 3 and died. It was still fun to watch you guys play.
That was a great time. It was fun to shoot you.
Yeah, it was, you crazy person. I would probably give this like a 4 because it is fun, and like
Yeah.
the fact that you don't know which person can turn into a monster next is kind of
I'm
exciting.
gonna give this one a 3 because I don't like the futility as like having played this one from the perspective of the clue gatherer and someone who can't fight. It feels like you're kind of useless.
Yeah, I don't usually play people who can't fight, at least in some capacity. So
We should do next time where
You know.
we all fight okay. Or like one fight's good and we all fight okay. Just see how this. None of us get clues and we just lose. That'd be great. Trust me, Travis.
yeah, I mean, like one of us has to be Roland then.
Yes.
That's not true. We could play a purple person as like right of seeking.
Ah man, purple people suck.
I think we'll go 3.5 again because
Yeah,
just
no,
seems.
that sounds pretty reasonable. Like I would probably give it a 4, but again, like I've only played it from one part.
Yeah.
So
Difficulty. I think this one's quite actually very easy.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
was gonna
Yeah,
say
it's
I
not-
give
it's
this
not
like
hard.
1.5.
it's almost impossible to fail this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's super hard to get the bad ending,
Yeah.
and at the end you just get to pick the good one. It's like
Yeah, like it's not hard.
Like worst case scenario, you're gonna walk out with a little bit of trauma, but there's
And,
also
like,
a very easy resign button.
maybe like not much experience or something for it, and that's mostly what this scenario is for: is to farm up to make your deck better for the future ones.
yeah,
1.5 sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
sure.
It's not hard.
Overall, how do we feel about our good friend, the Last King?
I give it like a 2.5.
I would probably give it up in that 3.5 rating. I feel like this is above average scenario. That's how I sit, anyway.
Yeah, like I've played ones that I enjoy. I've enjoyed.
Because like we had like, what did we give that last one? A 3.5? A 3?
Yeah, I think this one. I
This
feel
one's
like
better
this,
than that last one.
Yeah, I mean, like the other one, I think only deserves a rating like that because it's necessary for all the bits to come next. Like you can't just dive in.
Yeah, like
midway
if that
through.
one was like halfway through this thing, it'd be really boring.
Oh
It
yeah, if
wouldn't-
that one wasn't the first one, it would be garbage.
Like I only give this one like a 2 or 2.5 because it just your first time playing through can feel very unfair when they like steal guys away from you. The fact that you just get to pick the good ending at the end is pretty meh.
I feel like that's
it's
less
not
of like
super hard in general, and it actually gets like kind of like having played through it before and knowing what we're doing is kind of boring just farming the experience. Like you get to a point where you're just like, we're actually just gonna kind of mess around while like one person goes eats up all the clues so we can get the maximum amount of spirits for this. Like a scenario, even if it's designed to be like a bit of an experience sink, one that you can like reliably farm for experience, I think is like not well designed.
Well, but I like the fact that it forces you as players to, when you go to talk to people, you can't just have one person talk to everybody because they're all
Yeah.
designed to be different. Like
Yeah.
one person cares if you're rich, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a bit of strategy involved that makes it so that depending on the person you are, you might be having to take a different approach to it.
Yeah.
Like I wish there was more to it that could like make it so that there were more surprises that weren't just ancient evils, right?
Yeah. No, it's just like every time I play this one, it's just like, okay, it's this one.
Yeah, it is like a scenario that makes the fine clothes an item worth having,
Yeah.
Barely.
but I wouldn't pay for it for this scenario. It's not hard enough to merit, spending 3. What is it, like 3 or is it 2?
It's like 2.
2.
2 money.
2 experience on? Like I wouldn't spend the 2 on
I
that.
don't
I
think
would
it
spend
costs
it on.
any
No, it's
experience.
not
Is
experience,
it?
but
Is
it
it
costs
none?
money to play.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother putting it in my deck unless I was adaptable.
Yeah.
Even then, like, I could see putting it in your deck, like, knowing about this scenario, and, like, you just have the first 2 encounters since the first card you cut.
Yeah, like I would never be happy paying experience for that card.
No.
No.
So like I still like this one more overall than the other one, so I'm going for at least a 3.5 on this one. I give it a 3.5 is what I give it because I think it's.
I give it 2.5.
Bryn, where do you sit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a great encounter overall. I like the idea of showing up to a party and just beating everyone up because like
Yeah, you've only interacted with, like,
fun,
half
but
of
that's
it, though.
that's like all I do. So
I've done both parts of both the fight and the investigate. and that's
Yeah. Because I always just make Travis get clues for me.
yeah, and like overall,
That's fine. I make you kill things for me.
it is good the first
A
time.
nice symbiotic relationship.
Like it's good the
Yeah.
first time, and then I can definitely see Travis's argument that it loses its luster.
Yeah, I really like the Resident Evil fashion designer girl.
Yes.
That's really cool.
All the other ones feel very lackluster compared to her, though.
Like the one who
Yes,
like
definitely.
loses all her skin.
Yeah, she's kind of
It's
cool.
pretty neat.
But like,
Um,
yeah, they
And
hers
like
is
Jordan
the best design.
I've seen that
Perry is
before.
just super underwhelming. He's like, I'm fat and I don't do anything. You're
Yeah,
gonna,
he lights on fire
it's
and
gonna
it's
take
like-
you 2 turns to kill me. And you're like, okay, but what are you gonna do to me? And he's like, nothing.
So I guess what they should have done is just done more
But-
body horror for all of them.
Yeah, I think so. I
Maybe a
think
bit
so.
spookier.
All right, Bryn, what's
But
the
yeah, I'd probably give it about a 3 or a 3.5.
cool? We'll go with a 3 then, because then it's a bit of everything. Once again, just nice in the middle of all that. So, how do you guys think this one compares to the Dunwich Legacy box? The core box.
Dunwich Legacy had better cards on it.
Maybe.
Player
I mean, I
cards.
didn't play any Dunwich cards in my deck this time. Really?
But like
I
just
played, like,
just the scenarios.
4.
Like if you had to
But
recommend
as
just based on
scenarios?
the scenarios.
I think this one has more memorable ones.
This one's better for first experience. I think the Dunwich one has more replayability.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
the Dunwich one, I forgot that 2 of them were even unique scenarios. I thought like the second
weren't the
last
Corset
one was
ones,
part
huh?
of the
yeah,
last
but yeah,
one.
no, but just the core set for this.
The
Yeah,
deluxe
I would
box.
probably. I mean, like they're
Like for the
both-
other one, there's actual alternative, like things you can do. Whereas this one, again, like the fact that you can just pick the right ending at the end takes a lot away from me.
I definitely think that as well, and I feel like that's something that hopefully they're more
Cognizant of.
because then again they might not have such big decisions like that. That's kind of been the whole theme of this one is the decisions you make as a group will last throughout the whole campaign. It might not be like that for
Or might not matter at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like, the uncertainty is a big part. Like, this was a much, much better just scenario or campaign to play through than the Dunwich Horror for the first time. But I think I enjoyed our second playthrough of the Dunwich Horror more than I enjoyed our second playthrough of this one.
Yeah, I would agree. But you're going to see all those in all of our scenario reviews because we're going to get those going and they'll be coming out every few days. And you can see, agree. If you like, disagree, agree, let us know in the comments. If you think,
YouTube stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
just let us know.